I don't know why, but whenever I take a photo of my loaf of bread, it always comes out grainy.
That's good.
And we got the bread guy.
Yeah, that's the first time
That was fantastic.
The toughest part
That's
about
the
being a
first
bread
time I've
guy
used it.
is that I never sleep because the bread always rises. That was bad.
It's a twofer.
I loaf it.
Jesus.
Oh God.
So crusty.
Oh no!
Don't be a
This is devolving.
sourdough.
This is
Oh,
devolving.
God.
It's toast.
Stop it.
I missed it. I missed that one.
Yeah, you did.
Man, I missed the golden opportunity. Man,
you should be ashamed of yourself.
I am. I am disappointed at my dad joke game.
Well, that's it. Take your toaster and just go take a bath or something.
Oh.
So, what did we decide on this? As loaf as it gets. The podcast crossover sequel, where the one before that didn't happen.
That's okay.
This is a sequel?
No, it's not.
I was like, when did I miss?
It's a sequel because the first one didn't happen. So.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, if you call it the sequel, you'll make people think that one happened.
Yeah, so they'll go back and look at all of our episodes.
Watch all of our episodes to figure out which the other one is. I like
it's a sequel. I take it back. It's a sequel.
Totally
go listen.
Sequel. I like it.
No, actually, it's our first podcast collaboration. So we've been on other podcasts as guests, but this one is like a true collaboration where the greatest dad minds meet.
Where?
And so,
and then they came to us.
So As Dad As It Gets is doing an episode with the Social Loafer. And for the people listening that are listeners of As Dad As It Gets, the Social Loafer is
Social Loafer podcast. Thank you very much.
Social Loafer podcast. My bad.
Do it
Get
right.
The full
Do it
name.
right.
I don't put podcast at the end of anything.
Shame.
Well, I mean,
but no,
the Social Loafer.
The Social
Our
Loafer.
Our logo literally says podcast at the end.
And how many times do I say As Dad As It Gets podcast?
I don't know, but it literally says it.
Well,
it's on the logo.
It doesn't matter. It's
get him, David.
Yeah.
Get him.
Shut up,
this is
David.
why you're on probation, David.
Yeah.
I'm on probation because I didn't come at all for like 3 weeks.
Yeah.
That's what she said.
I don't know.
But no. The Social Loafer podcast is the podcast. Well, I'll let Brian explain.
Hi, I'm Brian. Good morning, loafers.
Hi, Brian. Hi, Brian.
Hi. Welcome to my imagination.
That might be a scary place.
It's chaotic.
So much bread.
So much bread.
I sleep on a bed of croutons. Cut that out.
Of all the bread you could pick, all the breads you could pick for a bed, you picked croutons.
The crunchiest.
Hey, man, I like a firm bed. You know what I'm saying? So when you wake up,
It's better
Just
for your
picturing one of those big square foam pits.
I love it. Dive right in.
There you go.
Eat your way out.
Those croutons haven't hurt.
Find those in weird places afterwards.
You'll be finding you'll be finding them months later.
Yeah.
Wow, this is off the rails.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Maybe
We do that.
That's what we do.
All right. So Social Over podcast. We talk movies. It's more of a movie recommendation podcast than a movie review podcast because I think movie reviews kind of spoil everything. I'd rather just say enough to get you excited about it. Like, oh wow, that's a really great cast. That's a really great director. Holy crap! It made $11.7 billion. That's incredible. You know, things that you would be interested in to want to see the movie. Because if you review the whole thing, you don't have to watch it.
That's true.
So Social Loafer Podcast.
It teases you to want more. And for the
I was gonna put a sex joke in there, but I didn't need to.
That was pretty much one in itself.
Yeah, good stuff.
For as
Good for
dad
you.
as it gets, I'm your host Larry, and Tom will be joining us soon, but we've got
Possibly.
David and John today.
Hello.
Hello.
So for this crossover, it's movies as a dad that you are looking forward to showing your children, or is a must see for your children. And I've already showed my daughter this one. Oh, go ahead.
But that's why it's such an interesting topic, because why do you want to show it to them? What is it? Are your kids too young and that they can't enjoy it? Or is it just they're over it? Because, like, if I were to say I really want to show my son Rocky, he's going to be so bored watching the original Rocky movie that you almost have to wait till they're like 30 for them to enjoy it. So
to truly appreciate it. But this, for my movie choice, I've already shown my daughter these movies, but she doesn't understand them and she doesn't know why they're important to me. So let me take you back to 1971. A young,
tiddaloo.
There you go.
A young,
I'm sorry, I forgot that everybody's watching. I need to make the audio too.
A young, ambitious filmmaker was a huge fan of like science fiction, and he wanted to make the Flash Gordon comics and series into a movie, but he couldn't get the movie rights or the rights to Flash Gordon. So he decided to make his own movie that was science fiction, and it birthed the greatest trilogy of all time. I'm talking about the original trilogy, Star Wars.
Insert Star Wars music.
If we can afford the rights to it. But no, I mean, like, there's Tom.
Hey. Sorry, exit was closed that I would normally use.
No, it's okay. You're a failure. No.
Yeah, I know. Normally here, unlike David.
Yeah, we just started without you.
Yeah, I saw the messages and I was like, no, it's stuck on the highway.
So, no, Star Wars. A New Hope came out May 25th, 1997 or 1977. Like the trilogy itself had a budget of 76 million, but over the 40 years that it's been out has made almost 2 billion.
Not enough.
Yeah. And the reason that this movie means so much to me as a parent is, for one, I'm a huge nerd.
I couldn't tell.
But yeah, look at the background. But two, it's the message that the original trilogy brings to people. Like, most people think it's just fighting in space, but like I feel like the message for Star Wars is more about like hope and redemption. I mean,
anybody could be a hero.
Yeah. Like, just kind of do your own thing and be yourself. Like, Luke never tried to be anybody but himself. And if your kid asks enough questions, you'll just lay down and die like Yoda did.
Yes, that's very true. That is very true.
I'm too old for this shit.
Exactly. Now, and it's sparked a lot of imagination. Like, with my daughter, I've taught her to use the Force. So I'll tell her to use it, and she turns all Palpatine on me, and it's just like,
I can't wait for Harrison to be old enough, and I can pretend to use it on automatic doors and just.
Yeah. But no, it's like, I feel like it's one of the more hope-inspiring movies of its time.
And it's fun.
Plus,
Yeah.
Plus, you've also got this cool dad trick now. If they're young enough and they don't know it yet, you could say, "These are not the toys you want to play with."
No, Jedi mind tricks don't work on my daughter.
Eh.
I've tried.
There is no try.
But do or do not. But the the entire series is just one big inspirational message, and then Carrie Fisher as Leia was one of the best female role models that ever existed.
Okay. I thought you were going to go in a different direction there with that one.
Also the hottest.
Hey man,
Also that.
best looking Disney princess there is.
Exactly.
There you go.
But no, like it's there's so much that this movie has to offer. And for it being 40 years old, I don't know if you guys have watched the original, like that hasn't been remastered, but it holds up really well. Story
it does
and
hold up.
and
Still
graphics, special effects.
It's one of those, and I hate that I'm referencing this movie, but it's like Jurassic Park in that the original effects.
Yeah.
and Brian,
Breaking them down, guys.
you don't know this about me. I love dinosaurs. I don't know if you could tell by the fossils that I have on the wall.
No, I hadn't even noticed.
So he's a big fan of alligators and crocodiles.
Yeah, they're basically living
That's
dinosaurs.
a whole other, Jurassic Park.
Did we
was
mention
wildly-
sharks? Sharks are in there, right?
They've been around longer than
for sure.
trees. I'm just gonna. It's while it's a
So does
fun
that make
movie.
trees a
wildly,
dinosaur?
It does.
Yes. Also, palm trees or grass. It's wildly inaccurate, and I'm one of those people who's super stickler for something that I really enjoy. So I get that people like it, and that's fine that they do. It's just not for me.
You're fun at parties.
I am not fun at parties at all.
But so I did find some fun facts about Star Wars. The simple fact that James Earl Jones got screwed, kind of.
Oh yeah, he did. He didn't get anything from those movies.
He got $7,000 for the first movie.
Damn.
And
Jeez.
that was a lot at that time. That was a lot of money for that.
But still not a lot. Or no.
But
yes.
he had the option of like less take less money and get royalties, or take more money and no royalties, and he chose more money, not knowing how successful it was going to be.
Well, I mean, when you're talking 1977, did anybody think a one and done kind of movie was going to make any money? I mean, it was a college kid who directed this movie.
Yeah,
exactly. Who could have imagined it would have done what it did?
And with
you don't blame James Earl Jones for taking the money and running, do you?
No,
not at all.
But then with Mark Hamill, he didn't really even want the job of Luke Skywalker. Like, he kind of just fell into it. They were originally gonna interview or do a casting with Robert Englund. And Robert Englund's like, no, I'm not going to do this, but you should check out Mark Hamill, because they were friends.
Okay.
And if you want the whole story on that, Inside of You podcast with Michael Rosenbaum, he does an interview with Robert Englund, and he tells the whole story. It's fantastic.
Have you ever seen the YouTube clip of Kurt Russell reading for the part of Han Solo? Dude,
yeah.
Unbelievable.
No.
Yeah.
I actually, like, so for Harrison Ford, I feel like he kind of just, he doesn't have the love for it. He just kind of shows up and gets paid.
Well, dude, are you, like, seriously, Harrison Ford is not an actor. He was the carpenter for the set.
Yeah.
And they said,
wasn't he the carpenter or something?
Yeah,
like
and
that?
they're like, hey man, you got a good
he
look.
was just And wasn't he just like helping somebody read lines or something? Like somebody else was needed to do it, so he stepped in and just started reading the lines to be the other person in the scene.
And he read it like he didn't care. Oh, dude, you got
and they're like, "That's what we want."
And then, surprise, surprise, that's what it took.
Yeah,
it's like the real life version of Office Space.
But like, I feel like him in that role just wasn't. I mean, I love Han Solo, but I feel like Kurt Russell would have been better.
Okay, but
every time I hear Kurt Russell, I can't help but think Big Trouble in Little China.
Well, yeah.
And
so like, if
you know what Jack Russell does in a time like this.
But so in that Kurt Russell, whatever you want to call it, just script reading, whatever it was, just him, and it was some unknown actor. Even it wasn't Mark Hamill he was reading with. But when they read it together, it sounded exactly like Kurt Russell being Kurt Russell. So I could imagine it would be like Big Trouble in Little China, and it would have been a completely different character. And he even admitted he had no freaking clue what he was saying. He was just reading words and didn't understand them because it's space language.
Yeah,
With the parsec.
It was made up.
It's a completely foreign concept at the time.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of the lines that Harrison Ford had, he improvised. Like the "I know."
That's
yeah.
Yeah.
It's the little happy accidents that make the movie memorable.
Right. And then there's the Purina One patch that I can't thanks to Family Guy. That's all I see.
Elaborate.
Yeah. So in Blue Harvest, they point out that one of the pilots in the movie is wearing like a Purina dog chow looking patch. I don't think it's actually Purina, but that's what it looks like.
Does that make him a dog fighter?
Exactly. And ever since then, like that's all I see.
There's a bunch of stuff in Star Wars that's like that though. Like in Empire Strikes Back, when the Empire's invading Cloud City and all the people are running for their lives. There's a guy carrying an industrial-sized ice cream maker.
Yeah,
it looks
futuristic thing that he's running with. Yeah, but it looked futuristic, so yeah.
But also, this I didn't know until I was looking up random facts. But Star Wars was the first movie dubbed in Navajo.
It's interesting.
Before that, no other movie had been dubbed in any kind of Native American language.
I'm glad they did it, but like I'm curious as to why they were like, you know what, we really need to do this in Navajo.
They'd totally love Star Wars. They'd love it.
Yeah.
I kind of want to watch A New Hope in Navajo.
It doesn't say why, but it says the dubbing wasn't initially done when the movie was released. It was only in 2013 that they did it. And the Navajo, the Navajo Nation Museum worked with Lucasfilms to translate A New Hope.
Huh. That'd be fun though, just to like challenge your knowledge of that movie and try and gauge what's happening with the it all changed and everything. It'd be kind of fun.
So like if you know the movie well enough, you'll know what the script sounds like, so then you can figure out what the Navajo word for force is.
Ooh, there you go. And then we learn a new language.
Yeah.
Star Wars is our Rosetta Stone.
There you go.
It's more like my Hooked on Phonics.
My last two facts are that the Ewoks were never named in the movie. The only reason anybody knows what they're called is because of the movie credits and the toys.
Huh.
And you can, like, I didn't realize that until I went back and watched it to verify. It never once mentions them as the Ewoks.
Right, because you don't believe it. You're like, no, that can't possibly be true.
I think I think for the longest time they were called Endorians because they were on Endor.
That makes a lot more sense than an Ewok.
And then the last fact is James Earl Jones didn't believe that Darth Vader was actually Luke's father. When he read that, he was like, "Oh, okay. I wonder how they're gonna like write this in that he's actually lying." Because he was a bad guy, so he thought maybe Darth Vader was lying about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
I like it. Good facts.
So and original trilogy all the way.
Really? Mm-hmm. So, if you were going to show your kids that, and I don't know how old your kids are, but like, they wouldn't want to see 1, 2, and 3 first. They wouldn't want to see 7, 8, 9. I mean,
we don't talk about this.
I don't know.
We don't talk
actually
about
like
Bruno. There's a difference.
We don't talk about Bruno.
I liked them, but if I'm a strong believer that if anybody is to watch them, they need to be watched in the order that they were released.
I agree.
Yeah,
I can dig it.
Yeah.
I showed my son when he was 5 A New Hope, and we got all the way through. And I asked him what he thought about it, and he said, 1, that was really boring, and I don't want to watch anymore. But 2, he loved the stormtroopers.
Better luck on the second child. You might as well give up on it now.
Really. But when we have stormtrooper action figures, he had a stormtrooper costume for Halloween. You
He's a
know,
poser.
anything Empire is cool to him, but the rest of it he could care less.
So he's been swayed by the dark side for some reason.
Very much so.
They have cookies.
They don't.
Yeah.
I tried. I checked.
So,
A lie.
so my kids are definitely older. My oldest is almost 15. My middle son is almost 13, and my daughter she just turned 8 this summer. The reason I was able to get my older boys into Star Wars was because of the Star Wars Lego game. So when they played the story of the game, I said, "Hey, that's exactly what's in the movie." And then we just kept going. I'm like, "Hey, we could watch the movie and it'd be like playing the game, but watching it." So
That was also the first Lego game to actually have talking roles.
nice.
Oh.
Well, that's how I got him into it. But they watched like your son that watched the 4th one. He's like, that was slow. That was boring.
Yeah.
My daughter loves it.
I say I'm gonna wait till my son is probably like 8 or 9 before I try to introduce Star Wars.
You got to while they're
He
young,
already
man.
likes
It's
to
like
fight too
getting
much.
them into a cult. You got
Yeah.
them early.
Well, I assumed that my son would get into it because I'm the youngest of 3 siblings, and my brother was into it, so I got pulled in when I was probably 5 or 6, and I loved it. As a kid, I was a fanatic for it, so I just assumed it would work, but yeah, can't do it all right.
Better luck next time.
Yep.
All right. But I yield the remainder of my time.
Okay. Hey, so how old are your kids again?
My daughter's 3.
Okay, and she loved Star Wars.
She loved
And how much
it.
of it does she actually understand, or she just likes the
None of
colors?
She likes
She
the
just
flashy
likes-
swords.
She likes the colors and the action.
The pew-pews.
Yeah.
So, did you ever think I'm gonna wait until she's old enough to understand it before you showed it to her?
So the only reason I originally showed it to her was because it was on TBS, and I was like, you know what, let's just put this on because it's been a while since I've seen
Okay,
it.
I was gonna say if your first viewing is from the television with commercials and stuff, like that's not how you watch Star
Yeah.
Wars.
Yeah, it was more of a like we'll do this while this is playing in the background. But she sat down and she watched it. But it's one of those movies that I'm going to continue to show to her so that she can actually get the full effect.
Has she only seen episode 4?
No, she's seen all of them.
Wow.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Has she seen the Clone Wars?
The cartoon
No,
series?
because that's a
Yeah.
lot.
That is a lot.
I mean, it's a lot, but like,
Yeah.
since it's animated, it might be.
Yeah, and Ahsoka's coming out in a couple days.
That's right.
I think a child would probably like
Way to
Star
date the
Wars
episode.
Rebels better than Star Wars Clone Wars.
She likes the Younglings show.
Yeah,
My
that
son
is
watches
one thing that my kids will both watch is the Young Jedi.
So we had to get a bunch of lightsabers, which are cut up pool noodles that I put some duct tape on so we can whack each other with.
That's awesome.
There you
I have
go.
to say that or like wrapping paper tubes.
Oh yeah.
And
Those break, man. You can whack somebody with the pool noodles and you don't feel a thing, but it sounds loud. So my son loves it. Right? So I just go and whack stuff, and he's like, "I hit you so hard," but then you actually don't feel anything.
yeah.
My favorite was when he did it to my daughter, who's about to turn 10, and she was like, "Ow," and I was like, "Did that really hurt?" She goes, "No." She was
Which is an automatic
No.
reaction.
It was automatic. She was like, "Ow," and then she looked like, "Oh, who heard that? Who heard that?" It was
Yeah.
fantastic.
Because my kids
That's
are older, they wanted a little more experience, so I had to put like PVC piping inside of the pool noodle.
Oh, no.
So they're basically
Oh, no.
hitting each other with bats with foam around them. But it's teenage boys.
violent.
It's fine.
Yeah.
They bounce back.
Totally resilient. They're fine. Can't break them.
Yeah. So who's up next?
I mean, I got here late, so I guess I'll
Jump in the pool.
And it's Jurassic Park.
It is not.
It's Jurassic Park for sure.
Jurassic World.
So I'm
Lost
going,
It's a Jurassic World.
That's
Jurassic
even worse, please.
I mean, before he starts, I do want to point out that my son and I just finished Jurassic Park 2 today.
The second one. Not,
Oh.
not like Jurassic Dominion or
The
whatever.
original trilogy, second one.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we're working our way through.
Okay.
Right on. Don't.
I actually don't mind the second one as much until
That
they all get
last
on
one
the
was
boat.
terrible.
Yeah. So I'm going Ninja Turtles. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Solid.
Like
Yeah.
the original.
With
Like the original
costumes and
cartoon
everything.
into the big movie that Jim Henson played a large part in creating the outfits and characters for.
Yeah, I'm
which
super
was-
excited for that being on. What's it coming to soon? Paramount?
I think it's on Paramount. Yeah, it's almost worth me paying for a subscription.
Well, which one are you talking about? Which turtles are coming to
The
Paramount?
original cartoons is on Paramount.
Okay.
now.
Yeah.
I'm super excited for that.
Yeah, no, those were some of my not only favorite toys I had growing up, but the cartoon was a lot of fun. It got me into martial arts, and I've talked with the other guys about this before. I did 8 years of different styles of martial arts, and it was a lot it was entertaining. It was fun. I'm pretty sure I had a large, because I'm the fourth out of 5 kids. I've got 2 older brothers who had toys, and then they passed some of them down to me, and then I would still get the newer toys. I had the helicopter with the punching hands on it, and the bubble jet, and the van.
The pizza van was my favorite.
The pizza, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I had the
Garbage truck.
Technodrome. Yeah, the Technodrome. That was an awesome toy that I lost when my parents were not happy about because it cost a lot of money. But I was a kid and didn't really understand it. But yeah, as a kid, it was fun because pizza was one of my favorite foods. Martial arts was fun. But yeah, so I looked up some fun facts, I guess, to share. Other than Jim Henson's work on it, Josh Pais, who played Raphael, was also in the movie, not as Raphael, but as a guy in one of the taxi cabs.
Yeah.
Which is a fun little tidbit for
It's like it looked like a big turtle.
Yeah. I didn't know this until I looked this up earlier. Ghostbusters and Batman were big influences on the Ninja Turtles. Batman, I could definitely see. Ghostbusters was kind of surprised me. Let me see.
Maybe
They
the
also
comedy
show
part.
up in a Batman cartoon.
They do, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. But the ooze that made the turtles also gave Daredevil his powers.
Supposedly.
Yes.
Supposedly.
That's
There was the comic that confirmed it.
I know none of this information.
That one's new to me.
Yeah, supposedly it's
let's
the
see.
toxic ooze that. But that doesn't make any sense because in the cartoon, the ooze comes from the Krang, or at least the new iteration of Ninja Turtles. So, I mean, with comics, TV shows, cartoons, they all change origins for everything. So for the nuclear waste or whatever it is that gave Daredevil his sonic hearing and everything, and it's the same thing that mutated turtles, that doesn't make any sense. Wouldn't it have mutated the kid? I'm just saying that.
It did.
It did mutate him.
It literally just heightened his senses. It doesn't mutate him. He didn't become a
Well, it
rat.
also no, it changed his brain too because his brain processes so much information that people that try to mind control or read his thoughts have trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he totally mutated.
yeah.
It's
It
mutated
wasn't like a
differently.
physical mutation entirely, like it was with
Turtles.
little baby box turtles that got
I love
waste poured on them.
Tok'ra and Raja.
Oh god.
I love that one because the scene where they're like, "You will call me master," and they're like, "Mama."
Yes.
Oh, mama.
Forgot about that.
That is.
And of course,
Love-
we can't
I love that.
forget the fight scene with Vanilla Ice, the Go Ninja, Go Ninja, Go.
Dude, so tight. It's so 90s, bro.
It's one of the most like iconic 90s movie scenes like I can think of right now.
Yeah.
And that's not just because I've been thinking about Ninja Turtles for part of the day.
But so I think you're confusing Turtles 1 and Turtles 2 because
Turtles 2 was with Super Shredder. And then 3 Turtles 2 was Secret of the Ooze, right? And then 3 was Turtles in Time.
3's where they go back in time.
Yeah, they go back in time and they're shoguns.
And nobody wants to talk about it.
I liked it.
I did too.
It's one of those weird things. It was good, but it's also one of those like, okay, but ninjas are different than shoguns,
but
they're semantics. They're it's fine.
Yeah.
I was literally like my 12th birthday was to go see that movie, so I love Turtles 3 back in the day.
Yeah,
it's still good. Also, another fun fact: did you know that Robin Williams had some comedic influence for at least the first one?
I can see that.
Which
I didn't know that.
If you didn't know, like looking back and going back and watching the movie, like, okay, yeah, I can.
There's a couple of like,
I kind of get that.
There's a couple of gags that I could definitely see him have worked in. Yeah.
What is this, a Jose Canseco bet? Tell me you didn't pay for this.
And Casey Jones like got me wanting to play street hockey because he had like the mask and like the street hockey stick and like he just beat people with it.
Tom just wanted to beat people.
Martial arts, duh. I was allowed to do it there.
He was a kid.
Yeah. And that's what I did. I had 2 older brothers, and guess who I picked fights with?
Did you win?
Didn't win.
Them.
No, I never won.
Never.
The only thing I learned to do was Wang Chung tonight.
There you go. Yeah, I can even still remember, like, in my parents' basement, I think there's still a VHS copy of Michelangelo Meets Bugman. Baxter Bugman, and it's like an orange VHS tape, and like I watched that thing on repeat.
Yep.
It was so good. I even had and I'm not even sure if you guys remember Usagi Yojimbo,
dude.
The
rabbit from another dimension,
time traveling.
Yep.
Yeah. I had like a couple of those comic books too. I was like, what else can I get my hands on that like 5-year-old me could nerd on about? And then now that I'm an adult, I'm like, oh, I want to go buy all those older things, but now that they're older, they cost way more money.
You can find them now.
Now they're called vintage.
Yeah.
Neko has been doing a lot of remaking the original Turtles to make it look like the original Turtles. You can still tell it's not the same, but
yeah. I mean, a bunch of my toys are still in that same basement, like in a toy bin, that I need to go dig up and pass down to my son. I do have a couple fun quotes before, I guess, I'll yield my time unless it sparks any other conversations.
It will.
April.
I heart turtles. I like turtles.
April O'Neil waking up from a dream or whatever, and she goes, why can't I ever dream about Harrison Ford? And with having talked about Harrison Ford earlier with Star Wars and everything, I felt like that one fit in pretty well.
It's all connecting.
So Turtles and Star Wars are in the same universe.
Exactly, they are.
You can't prove it's
when
not
the pizza.
happening.
I like it.
When the pizza's like 30 seconds late, and forgiveness is divine, but never pay full price for a late pizza.
Those are words to live by.
It is, and that was back in the day when like if your pizza was after 30 minutes, like you didn't pay full price for it.
They don't do that now.
Yeah, now your pizza can take an hour and a half, and they're like, "Well, sorry."
You get what you get, you fat slob.
Pizza place by us, we don't even bother to order delivery anymore because it takes like 2 hours. We go pick it up; it's 20 minutes.
Right.
Yeah.
A lot of the pizza places,
and they have a drive-up window, so
yeah.
I don't even.
A lot of the pizza places down by where I live have started outsourcing their deliveries to DoorDash.
Yeah,
because they just don't have enough people working there. So you put the order in, like whether it's through the app, online on your computer, or you call it in. They'll ping a DoorDash driver, and then that DoorDash driver comes and gets it, and by the time a delivery gets there, yep, it's lukewarm or cold, so we'll just go pick it up instead.
And now Domino's is saying they're going to start doing drones for it.
Oh, come on.
I want that. I bought a drone
To deliver pizza?
I'll tell you guys that.
So
I
you're
bought
saying you can deliver me pizza?
No, it's barely going to be able to pick up a loaf of bread. It's very small, but it's got a camera on it.
At least I know my job's safe.
I had one a couple of years ago, and I took it for a test flight out in the field, right, big open field, and there's one tree at the far end with a little creek next to it, and I'm like, I'm gonna stay away from that tree. And 10 minutes later, I'm in the tree, and then it goes from the tree to creek and short circuits.
Yeah.
So I had the thing going for half an hour.
It's always the another one, the mild homage to them, and like they kind of hinted at it, but never really said they did, like smoked pot, or can I say that on this? I don't try to.
Yeah, pot's not a bad word.
Okay.
How dare you?
That.
Pans though, pans.
Not pans. Absolutely no pans. But in the third one, for those of us who enjoyed it and remember watching it, Splinter taking the lampshade and putting it on his head. Yo, dude. that was
tequila.
That was a good one.
I'm gonna go watch those now.
I know, right? I was between, like, I started watching the Indiana Jones movies, then I was like, you know what? I know Larry's talking about another Harrison Ford movie. I'll do Ninja Turtles instead. And then, lo and behold, there's still a Harrison Ford reference. Ninja Turtles movies.
I have a friend who's such a big Indiana Jones fan that he named his first son Indiana.
That's pretty cool.
Poor child.
Yeah. And I will say, like,
no one will ever be that cool to represent that name.
They named him after the dog.
They named him after the dog.
Well, I have another friend who has their dog's name is Indiana.
But the dog is fine, but the child.
Realistically, though, how many states make a good child's name? Here is my daughter, Alabama.
Not that one. I have met people named Georgia before.
Okay,
I've met people named Tennessee.
There was Florida.
I've never met
Massachusetts.
Tennessee. What?
You're the only 10 I see.
Oh.
Yeah, this is my kid, New York.
His little brother, New Jersey.
Yeah, we don't talk about him.
We don't talk about you.
I'm sorry, he smells like he wet himself. That's just
that's just Jersey.
Oh, Jersey.
Constantly smells like crap. All right.
Then,
what other quotes you got?
I'll save the best one for last before I pass this on, and I'm sure you guys can guess what this one is going to be. Cowabunga.
Cowabunga.
That's like the best.
Yeah, that's one of those, like, it's been used in other things. Like, I'm pretty sure they used it in NBA Jam, the video game, as a quote when, like, you did a slam dunk or something. Like, there's boom shakalaka and all kinds of other stuff. At least in skate parks, if nothing else.
Surfboarding.
Oh, yeah. But yeah.
Hang 20.
It's hang 10, bud.
Hang 3.
Yeah.
I've watched Marmaduke too many times because my son is obsessed with it. And in there, he's like, of course we're ready to hang 20.
Oh, one other fun fact that I just remembered.
Okay.
Howard the Duck almost killed the Ninja Turtles franchise.
You know, I can see that.
The movie Howard the Duck made me so uncomfortable.
It should. It should.
I don't know. Howard the Duck movie is like one of those, was that was it a fever dream I had?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, was that real life?
Hey, man, Leah Thompson.
You guys remember it
in that
too?
movie.
Oh, God.
Yeah, Leah Thompson saved it.
Yeah,
all right?
She's the only thing about that movie.
Well, like, then she started getting sexual with the duck.
That's too much.
Which, that's probably why that movie came close to failing. Like,
that's the reason,
and the
right?
the guy that played the bad guy turned out to be a pedophile.
I mean, that
Interesting.
puts a tick.
That'll do it. That'll put a spin on it.
And yet, ironically, it's very weird that you brought that up, actually, because I put something on Facebook saying, the whole premise of this episode was, what movies do you want to show your kids that really meant a lot to you? My buddy, he said, I don't have kids, but if I did, I would show them Howard the Duck. And now I can't help but think, you sure about that?
Why?
Are you all right?
I have questions.
You don't have kids.
I have questions. He needs to clarify. Now that we know that this information exists, he needs to clarify.
Yeah.
He is the weird one of the group.
Maybe it's not common knowledge that the dude was a pedophile, because he, like, after Beetlejuice, he wasn't really relevant in any movies.
Some people
that's
just
another
fade out of the
really good
limelight.
Yeah.
A good friend of mine in elementary school would spend the night like once or twice a month, and we'd watch the Beetlejuice movie with Michael Keaton.
Okay, I was wondering where this is going.
Yeah, I was like, what are we doing, man?
Sorry. Yeah.
All right, enough of pedophiles.
Yeah, let's
Better lead in than that.
segue into one of you other
Okay, so
three gentlemen.
I had a very challenging time with this one because my kids are older, my daughter is younger, so it was like, do I want to show my daughter something? Because she's so into YouTube, it's hard to get focused on a movie. So what movie could I get her to fully watch? I had a hard time with that. So then I thought about my older boys, like, what movie did I love when I was younger that they might enjoy? Because for them, it's all about Fortnite and just video games. So I thought, okay, maybe a cool shooter movie. Demolition Man.
Yeah.
That was my favorite movie when I was younger. This came out, I was, 1993. So I was 8 years old when this came out. Movie changed my life. I thought Sylvester Stallone was the coolest thing in the world. I actually saw Demolition Man before I saw Rocky. So
Yeah.
a lot of people look at it like a not so good movie, but there's so much comedy about it. Like the whole Taco Bell took over the restaurant industry. Everything's in pill form, virtual sex. Like that was almost
seashells.
yeah. The three
That's
seashells.
the part that like messed me up the most.
There's so much about that movie that because it's supposed to be like 2032, I think. So we're coming up, we're creeping up on it now.
I thought that
Ask
movie
my son.
supposedly already happened.
No,
let's see.
I watched the trailer today because I wanted to show my son about it.
Fair
Like,
enough.
do you want to watch this after this trailer? And I'm pretty sure, 97% sure, it said 2032.
He was
2032
100.
2032.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
in San Angeles.
Yeah, right.
St. Angeles. Yeah, that's right.
Everything falls apart in the world.
Gotta love
David, the
it.
look on your face.
A megaopolis. Because I'm trying to figure out how to say some of these words. A megalopolis.
Megalopolis.
Sounds like a dinosaur
Wesley
from
Snipes.
Jurassic Park.
Wesley
Born from
Snipes
the
had the best performance in that movie.
Dude,
Like, he was one of the top villains.
how many villains are named Simon? He was
Yeah,
amazing.
Simon Phoenix.
Yeah, Simon Phoenix. That is tight. And I showed the trailer, and I mean, at the time it was John Spartan, Sylvester Stallone, like shooting a gun at him.
Yeah.
And then in the trailer, it showed Simon saying, "Time for a blast from the future." And he like blasts a ray gun at him, and then, yeah. But now it looks cheesy as hell. But
Yeah, at the time.
it was amazing. So
Yeah.
I was thinking about Demolition Man. But after seeing my son's reaction to the trailer, it made me feel like it's not going to happen.
Oh no.
So then I sidestepped that, and I thought about a newer movie that he would enjoy. Hi, Courtney. She just got back from dance.
Oh.
Oh.
Oh, hi,
Dance
Courtney.
and
Hi.
dancing. Courtney, what's your question?
Do you still have to take the sleep test? Do you still have to have the sleep thing?
I don't know yet. I had a sleep study done last night. So I'm trying to get off of my CPAP. So she's asking me if I'm getting off of my CPAP.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
There's Mittens in the background. So I watched a newer movie, 2014, Kingsman.
Okay.
Oh, I love that movie.
That one's fantastic.
And that
too.
one is so entertaining that I know he's gonna love it. I just need to get him to sit down and watch it.
She did
Just
not
show
close
him.
that door.
Show him the fight
Oh,
scene.
dude, it's so fast paced. It's a video game,
Yeah.
more or less. So, for as much as they
Yeah.
like Fortnite, I'm pretty sure they would love that fight scene, and then that could get them into the story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She did not shut the door, and your cat's about to get out.
Uh-oh.
Nope, she's coming back. Okay.
David's worried about it.
Oh, she's a
Axolotl.
Axolotl.
went to Build-A-Bear today.
Oh,
What's its name?
there we go.
It has clothes.
It has clothes.
It has clothes.
What's his name?
His name was Bubblegum,
Bubblegum.
but
Bubblegum?
I thought she said bubble gum.
That's what I heard.
but his nickname is
Axel.
Axel and
Axel.
Axel Foley.
I like how you.
bed.
Very good.
Well, he's got a bed too.
Oh,
Oh, I have a bed.
Well, she would. The axolotl.
I don't think you
I
do.
don't want to brag, but
I do have the bed.
Hey, you have a bed? Jeez, that's like my goals, bro.
kind of a big deal.
In the sleeping community.
Is it time for Axel to go to bed?
Has glasses.
Oh, glasses.
I actually really like that.
Wow.
Did they help you see now?
And they
Hold
fit.
on. Hold
Wait,
on. I can join the glasses.
Where'd
crew.
Courtney go? Superman?
Wait,
Oh.
Tom, do you actually
Oh,
have
got
to wear
glasses.
glasses?
No, these are blue light glasses.
Oh, nerd.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I have 2013 vision.
How dare you protect your eyesight?
I've got like two vision.
Its favorite thing to do is hang.
His favorite thing to do is hang.
Why are you pretending to talk like you're 2? You know you're 8, right?
Because she can.
Literally, that's what you're doing.
That kind of reminds me of how my 7-year-old acts, so I understand.
Yep.
That was fantastic.
I'm 100% okay with leaving all of that.
I'm loving the
It's
cameos.
staying in.
Dude, welcome to paradise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But for Kingsman, I actually convinced my wife to watch that simply because it has a pug in it.
JB. Question
Yeah.
is, do you remember what JB stood for?
Jack Bauer.
Good job.
Jack Bauer, yeah.
Yeah.
I had no clue.
I have watched that movie a lot.
Yep.
It has rewatchability too.
Yeah, it does.
So good. And there's things that you don't catch in it. Like in the early parts of it where he was explaining the whole thing to Eggsy, he was telling him World War I, a lot of the snobby snobs that had a lot of money lost their heirs in World War I. So this is 2014 and 2022, I think The Kingsman came out, the prequel.
Yeah.
And that's literally what they made the movie about, was about World War I and the whole dad losing his son. I didn't know that was going to happen, but they literally said it in the very first, 20 minutes of The Kingsman from 2014.
Yeah.
She doesn't look impressed.
I'm just going to bed in a half an hour, and I need papers filled out tomorrow for her tryout. So I need you to kind of wrap it up.
Okay, I will get her done.
Uh-oh.
Get her done.
That's another cameo. So, 2014, The Kingsman is one of my favorite movies, and it's something I can't wait to show my kids because I feel like they would actually love it. The second one,
It is really
second
good.
one wasn't as good. Prequel was good.
Prequel was emotional.
Yeah.
I wish Channing Tatum had a bigger part in the second one.
Yes. Pedro Pascal too. It was really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's weird seeing him in a totally different role like that.
But Elton John in that had a pretty good role.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's actually what got him and Taron Egerton to become friends, which got Taron Egerton to become
Rocket
Man. Yep.
Rocket Man.
I still need to watch that.
So,
It's pretty good.
Yeah, I haven't watched it either.
I like biopics.
I've heard nothing. Yeah. I've heard good things, but
It's good. You should watch it.
There's a lot more drugs and gay stuff than I thought there was going to be. Not saying like it's a bad thing. No, it's really not. I just didn't know.
Elton John?
there
He's
was a
gay?
lot.
So much
Sometimes it
fashion.
takes me by surprise too. It's like, wait, what?
Yeah, because you also see.
Look at the way he dressed.
Well, because you also see Richard Madden as the boyfriend.
Yeah.
And so to see him go from Game of Thrones to that, like I didn't see that coming.
Oh, that's another thing I need to watch. I haven't.
Don't.
Yeah.
It's so hard to follow, and having kids in the house, you can't watch it until like 10 o'clock at night when everyone's sleeping.
You think
And
the
then you get
show's
through-
hard to follow? I did the first book.
The book's
It
worse.
is so.
I'm about halfway through the
much
first book.
Worse to follow.
But I started that first book like 6 years ago.
It is.
And like I got halfway through and I was like,
George R.R. Martin.
Y'all read books?
I listen to audiobooks.
That one's a grind. It really is.
But anyway, who's up next?
I will be. I have
I'm
a
curious about
prop.
this.
to everyone's surprise.
Isn't that from the movie Debbie Does Dallas?
It is. It's actually the.
It's what they choke her with, right?
Yeah.
Oh my
This
God.
turned on John. This makes John uncomfortable.
So, disclaimer here.
Yeah, well, so
For those who are listening and not watching.
yeah, so I am wearing a Harry Potter scarf. And you don't have to. I understand that the author has said things and made stances that not everyone will agree with or appreciate, and just because the person says something doesn't mean you can't love what was made. So I grew up loving it. My mother introduced it to me when I was young and introduced it to my brother and sister and got us all reading it. And then we all together tried to get my dad to read it, who refused to read it because he wasn't much of a reader anyways. I mean, we literally left the first book around the house in multiple places and he would just move it and keep going.
That's awesome. Honestly, the Harry Potter movies are really good. I don't know if I get my kids to watch any of them.
Really?
You think it would be made for kids, though?
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
I mean, my goal is to read the books first. That's the primary goal, is to read the books to them. And then, you read the first book, then you can watch the first movie, and then you go to the second book and the second movie and just progress forward. But it's just one of those things that I grew up loving and I still love, and I did the test, and I'm a Hufflepuff, and I don't care if anyone makes fun of it.
You do you, boo-boo.
Hufflepuffs are crazy.
Well, yeah.
My wife is a Hufflepuff.
Yeah, my ex was a
Go
Hufflepuff.
away.
Shut up.
I'm Gryffindor.
Yeah.
I'm
My wife's
Gryffindor too.
Ravenclaw.
I'm starting to become a Slytherin because
Yeah, I'm a Hufflepuff. I'm a Hufflepuff who married a Ravenclaw, and my son, who did not understand what the questions meant, we kind of altered some of the language. We had him take a test, and he's a Gryffindor, so which makes perfect sense for him. But
Yeah, I'm
I'm
a
sorry.
Ravenclaw. One of my nephews is. And then
No, Tom, you're a Slytherin.
hey, no, my D&D character is a Slytherin.
You're Slytherin.
But yeah, it's just, I know a lot of people love it and some people don't love it, but it's something I grew up on, and I cannot wait to introduce it to my kids and watch them enjoy it.
We're a
Yeah.
huge Harry Potter house too. So my wife is a Hufflepuff and huge into Harry Potter. She has a giant Harry Potter tattoo.
wow.
And it helped her get through infancy loss.
Oh.
She had a miscarriage. So that's like kind of the world she escaped. So she didn't read it until she was an adult and had the miscarriage. And then that's when she first got the book. So that's kind of what helped her get through it.
Yeah.
So
Fresh on my mind because it's 12 years today that she found out she had the miscarriage.
I'm sorry to hear that.
So me and her have been talking about that all day. So, but it's all around, like I said, everything about that is Harry Potter. That's the world she escaped to. We can't wait to show our daughter that movie either, but we're trying to make sure she's old enough to understand it. And she's also a super sensitive kid. So right now, even though she's going to be 10, we don't think she can handle the later movies.
Yeah.
Because she's so sensitive. Right?
That's one of those.
Now, mind you, her dad had her watch Star Wars. And I'm still more concerned about the later movies with Harry Potter with her than I am about, because Star Wars, you could tell is fantasy, like space, stuff like that. Like the Hogwarts is a little more on the realism side of the magic and stuff, but it's in, you're in England and it's in real shots and it seems more realistic. So I'm like, no, I don't think she's ready.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those where like 1 and 2 and arguably 3 are kid friendly, and then it just
gets darker.
It goes darker and it goes darker and it goes darker.
And then it turns.
Yeah.
We rewatch them every Christmas.
Yeah. Those are good Christmas
all the way through?
All the way through. Man. Every Christmas. Not just on Christmas Day. It's usually like a 3-day span that me and her watch it, but we watch it every Christmas.
Weren't all of those movies released on like Christmas Eve or Christmas Day?
They all have Christmas in them.
So they get labeled as Christmas
right, because
films.
Die Hard is a Christmas Day movie.
It is.
For me. Because it's a Christmas movie. Mm-hmm. I will fight about this.
I haven't. So Die Hard, if you look at it, it is a Christmas movie because logistically nothing makes sense except for the building being shut down because it's Christmas. They're having a Christmas party. Yeah. So because
and they say Merry Christmas like 10 times in the movie.
And because the movie cannot happen without it being Christmas, it is a Christmas movie.
Yeah.
Yes. Me and my wife have this argument a lot.
Yeah.
But on her, one of the things on her bucket list is to actually go to wherever the Harry Potter world is. Again, I'm terrible at this.
It's fantastic.
But she wants to go at Christmas time. So because we missed our honeymoon when we first got married, because my job made me basically come back, or I didn't have a job when I came back. When the kids are old enough for us to leave for a few days, that's actually what our honeymoon is going to be, is going there at Christmas time.
We're planning to take Callie when she turns 11.
Nice.
Because if you go to Ollivander's early enough, like I think they open at 8, they pick a random kid to do kind of a show where they pick a wand and everything like that and go through the whole Harry Potter wand picking scene.
I've been told that there are ways to like backroom ensure that you are the one that gets picked, but yeah.
We're taking her on her 11th birthday, so we're making sure like she's going to get the pin and everything. But if you haven't gone to Universal Studios, highly recommend it.
That's what it is, Universal Studios.
On the to-do list.
I don't know. She makes the plans. I just pay for it.
It is expensive.
I'm probably not going to even attempt to read the first one to my kid until at least 8, but it probably will be a little bit later just because the later books get dark.
We read it to my daughter, which it also helped me through because my dad when he was in the hospital, I started reading the first one. And when he passed away, I was continuing to read it. And then when my mom passed away, I was just finishing up the books. So they helped me through a lot as well.
So when did Harry Potter like enter your guys' lives?
8th grade is when I started. Yeah.
Yeah, like 7th grade or whatever when it came out. I read it, but then I stopped reading it. And I didn't start reading it until 2014.
Yeah, I read the first 3 like as they came out, and then I was like, I'm going to be a cool kid and not read these dorky books. And then I grew up some, and I was like, oh, I'm going to read these dorky books.
I didn't get into it till I got married.
I've got the Neville Longbottom wand.
There you go.
Nice.
Wow. I came into it a little bit late. I don't think I started until like book 4 happened. So I caught up the first 3 and then got 4 when it came out. But I was not one of those people that, binge the entire book in the first night. Those people are crazy.
Oh, he's got a bunch of wands.
Wow.
Yeah.
So let's see.
Dude, that's
this one. These 2 are the interactive wands for Universal Studios. So you can go to different spots in the Universal Studios.
You have 2.
Yeah, one's mine and one's my wife's.
Oh, okay. I thought they were both.
He was double fisting that
this
day.
One's mine. I was just like, yeah! But no, there are interactive spots where the wands work.
And Disney does that, except it's just like a watch, and you
Yeah,
and something comes to life or shoots water at you or something.
So
does something.
speaking of the interactive thing, being in Minnesota, I've been to the Mall of America a zillion times. They had that Harry Potter experience with those interactive wands. That was pretty cool.
Oh,
I never
nice.
took one. Actually, Harry Potter was never really a big thing for me. I've never read any of the books. My kids have never read any of the books. I haven't even seen all of the movies. Like, because of my job, I'm off Wednesdays and Sundays. So like when the kids were in school, me and my wife, several years ago, like on a Wednesday, we would go rent the movie before they were even on streaming. Like we would go rent a movie from the library and watch it on a Wednesday. And then the next Wednesday would be the next movie. So like we got like the fifth one maybe. I don't even remember what they're named. So to say I'm a nerd, but I'm not a Harry Potter nerd, it just
I mean, it's
5 is Goblet, right?
is it Goblet of Fire or whatever?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's my favorite movie.
Okay, that's the one where
And
the dude dies in the was like
in the
the
maze.
competition, right? The Goblet of Fire was the competition.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah,
Edward.
yep. So that's the one I know for a fact. I've seen that one. So I haven't seen all of them.
And spoiler alert for our listeners / watchers.
La 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 la.
Harry Potter's a wizard.
What?
Actually, all right. Here comes a super nerd fact. Doctor Strange, the Sorcerer Supreme, is actually a wizard, and Harry Potter is actually a sorcerer. Sorcerers are born with their abilities.
Oh, here we go. He's getting.
Them.
Wait, is there actually a difference?
Yes.
Wizards are learned.
Magic?
No kidding.
Learn magic. I could see that.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't say
I was thinking D&D. Like I was like, don't they get their abilities from the
D&D
deity?
is the same thing.
Yeah.
Shut up.
You should know this,
nerds.
We have a whole separate podcast.
I'm still trying to figure out the difference between jelly and jam. So,
well, I will say my favorite of them was actually number 5, which most people don't enjoy as much. And my main reason of loving number 5 the most is because you get Luna in the 5th one. Luna.
Yeah.
Love Luna.
That's 3.
That's 4. Prisoner of Azkaban's 4.
So, David, what is yours?
So, for the one that's actually kid appropriate is Shrek.
What was the not kid appropriate?
Terminator 2.
Terminator 2's. I watched it as a kid.
Like late elementary.
So I still think of the kids like my 5-year-old. I can't have him watch Terminator 2. Are you kidding me? Peeling off the skin.
But you could have him watch it eventually.
I watched it in like 5th grade.
Eventually, because
I
don't know.
It's
why.
absolutely acceptable for a child to watch Terminator 2.
I don't know why, but when I was younger, I literally watched Terminator 2 so many times I wrecked the VHS. Like, and my dad couldn't figure out why. Like, me and him watched it at one point, and then I just literally just watched it over and over and over.
No,
and over.
I know this
And
experience. I had a friend in 5th grade that was obsessed with it, and we watched it every weekend. So I know this.
I did that with the Matrix.
When I was in my 20s, I found the old VCR that was in our living room, and that Terminator 2 was still in it.
Still playing.
It was on a loop. It started just rewinding itself.
It was broken and everything else. I was like, I wonder if there's a movie still in there. I look, there is. So me and my brother now are like, all right, well, I wonder what else is in this. So we tore it apart, and of course, I was like, of course, it was Terminator 2. Like, I watched that movie so many times.
So, what was your favorite part in Terminator 2?
Just probably the way
parents
it says
are dead.
Yeah.
So
that one's traumatic. That was traumatic.
Fun fact about that. So the guy that plays the T-1000, I can't remember his name, but he ran so fast that he had to slow down because he kept catching them in the car. And then the scene in the with the helicopter, they had to that was actually them flying it. Like most stunt drivers were like, no, we can't do this, it's too dangerous. But the director was like, no, and I forget how he did it, but he talked somebody into doing it, and they recorded that. But it's an actual, like, they were flying that close to the ground and everything.
Wow.
So yeah, when the
a lot of stuff.
The only part that drives me nuts about that movie is when the semi drives off the bank, the overpass. You see the window pop out. You see the whole front windshield pop out, and then in the very next scene, he's punching the window out. So
it's movie magic.
It's like, dude,
Yeah.
you didn't even give it a second to forget about it. Like, you literally see this thing coming right at the screen, and then he punches it out the next scene, and it's back. It's like, wait, what? No.
I remember as a kid, just Schwarzenegger doing the shotgun, and he does the flip thing to reload it, and everybody in school was just like, "That's the coolest thing."
Ooh, I lost my mind.
I do that.
Everybody lost their mind in that part.
So when I play VR, that's how I reload shotguns now. Thanks to Arnold.
So Arnold, if you're listening, please come on our podcast and show us how you did that.
The whole movie was fantastic.
Yeah. The shotgun sounds shooting were actually cannons.
Huh.
But it is one of the few, sequels that is better than the original. No argument.
Oh yeah,
the first, yeah.
Oh yeah, no, it was way better than the first one.
To the point where when someone says, "Oh, you've seen the Terminator movie," like you assume it's Terminator 2 instead of the first one.
I had before we switched from Comcast to our internet company now. My router name was Skynet.
There you go.
Nice.
Yeah.
So are we diving on Terminator, or are we just gonna skip over Shrek?
No, like Shrek. No.
Yeah, we're going Terminator.
Because
sorry,
I feel like with David, Terminator has more sentimental value than Shrek.
Yeah, it does.
Shrek's a good movie. Don't get me wrong.
But, I mean, that's easy to show kids.
The first two were great. Yeah,
Shrek's a cinematic masterpiece.
Yeah, we just watched it not that long ago. I think it came on TV, and like now my kids get half my jokes. Right? That's where half of it come from.
I tried so.
We do all the time. We're like, do you know the Muffin Man? Like, me and my wife will do that back and forth all the time. And so
the Muffin Man.
Like my son looked at me after they said it, and he was like, "Hey, Dad, they say what you said." Like, where do you think I got it from, man?
Yeah.
There are a lot of good adult jokes in Shrek, but the scene with in was it the third with the fairy godmother where she sings is the best use of that song ever. Like with the the giant muffin man or giant gingerbread man.
Mongo.
Yeah, he's like, "Be good."
And since I haven't seen the third one in years, what song?
Need a Hero.
Oh yeah.
That's the third one?
But my daughter's late. I think it was the third one.
I just remember the first one really well.
Yeah. They all kind of blur. I mean, there's so many Shrek movies and like spin-off Shrek
I remember
movies.
Parts of the second one.
Puss in Boots got his own movie.
Isn't the second one where they meet Puss in Boots?
They meet Puss in Boots in
the second
first
one's, yeah.
Really?
Yeah, they don't meet him in the first one. He's in the second one.
Huh.
Okay, so maybe it's the second one where...
I need a hero.
My favorite part of the second one is when they're, at the table with the king and queen, and they start being really unruly, and they're, Dad, Shrek, and then
Donkey.
I just want to be involved.
Yeah.
I say donkey a lot too.
Donkey.
So.
Donkey.
What are you doing in my swamp?
Yeah, I'm like, donkey. What are you doing?
I love Mike Myers, like, and when he impersonates Scottish people, because like it's just such a spot on, like in any of the movies, like So I Married an Axe Murderer is another good one where he plays like three of his own family members.
That one.
And then the movie on Netflix. It's like the Pentagorism or something like that.
Yeah.
He plays a Scotsman in that.
He plays how many characters?
No.
7, 8.
He plays half the cast. But the other day, when we were at my daughter's pageant, there was a woman there that I tried to get a picture of because she looked exactly like
I thought you were going to say Shrek.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Mike Myers. I was like,
no, she looked like the fairy godmother. Like she was wearing the dress, she had the glasses, she had hair like it. I was like, oh my god, I want to picture.
Some wings,
but I couldn't figure out.
Perfect.
Yeah,
I couldn't figure out how to take a picture.
She's got an
of her.
updo, right? Where it's
yeah.
I have used the metaphor from the first one about ogres are like onions, but I use that to explain children.
They've got layers.
Yeah.
No, onions. Saying something is like onions, like people are like onions, is way more accurate than like cakes. Because everybody likes cake.
What about parfait? Everybody loves parfait,
right? So everybody loves cake. Everybody loves parfait. Everybody doesn't love everybody.
Yeah,
I mean, not everybody loves parfait.
Yeah, it's weird.
It doesn't let me back. It's delicious.
Yeah, that's because you're lactose intolerant.
Stop killing
again.
yourself.
Another good metaphor for people and food. Like, not everybody loves you back.
Right.
Yeah. Also, lasagna has layers. Another food that's great that doesn't agree.
That's true. Still eat it. Don't give up.
But so no, like as far as movies, I feel like as a parent, they, at least for me, like they're a way to connect with people, because every movie, no matter what it is, has a message and a meaning and a learning moment.
Yeah.
And I think that's about as dad as it gets. If you enjoyed this episode, give us a rate and review. Your feedback fuels us and helps us reach more parents and make a positive impact on their lives. Are you looking for a daily dose of dad jokes? Follow us on Instagram @AsDadAsItGetsPod. There you can find the latest dad jokes and keep up with the latest news and updates about our podcast. Also, do you have a parenting question or do you want to spotlight a dad? Reach out to us by email @AsDadAsItGets@gmail.com.